Welcome back to today's episode of My Family Think I Own a Soul Food Restaurant. And on today's Sunday menu, we're having meatloaf, cabbage, sweet potatoes, cornbread, and of course, rice and gravy. And I have two additional food critics this week, which are my bonus baby and my god baby. Let's go ahead and get into this meatloaf. So, I like to use the meatloaf seasoning. Now, I do not like to use the whole thing, but I also like to use the beef and onion soup mix. And since I'm doing 2 pounds of beef, I threw in 2 slightly beaten eggs, 1 cup of breadcrumbs. I also threw in some of that W sauce and 1 good squirt of ketchup, along with some diced bell peppers and onions. And I'm still going to season it up with some seasoning salt, garlic and onion powder, Cajun seasoning. I also used some of that Montreal steak seasoning. I had my safety gloves on, so I mixed it up real good and made my loaf and threw it in the oven on 350 for about 45 minutes. Honestly, did not feel like tussling with cabbage today. I brought 2 heads but ended up making 1 only because y'all already know how I feel about leftovers, and I most definitely did not want any today, okay? I put a little olive oil in my pot here, and then I threw in my sliced up bell peppers, and yes, I did all of the colors. And after I rinsed and cleaned my cabbage real good, I threw that in and let that cook down with a little bit of chicken broth. Once that was done, I went on to throw in some chicken bouillon seasoning, a little jalapenos, garlic and onion powder, and some Cajun seasoning. I mixed it up real good and put the lid on and let that simmer down and started on those sweet potatoes. I wasn't sure how I wanted to do them. I be seeing videos where they put them in the oven, but I'm used to boiling mine. So we did just that and went on to start it on our gravy. I used the rest of the diced bell pepper and onion and a little bit of cooking oil. Once that heated up, I sprinkled in some flour and then I added in some beef broth. And I also added in 1 can of cream of mushroom along with a little bit of water. I added in some beef bouillon seasoning salt, garlic and onion powder. And while that was going, I started on my mini rice. Now my sweet potatoes are ready. Y'all see, I throw them in a baking dish, not to bake them, but just to throw in my sugar, cinnamon, and nutmeg. And I just set them in the oven to stay warm. And look at how thick and good that gravy is before I submerge that meatloaf in. I know it's fire, right? And I just put the lid on it and set it in the oven for about 10 minutes on 350. I went on and started on my cornbread, and yes, we're doing honey cornbread tonight, which is everybody in the house favorite. I got my meatloaf out the oven and sliced it up so I can go ahead and make everybody plate. I gave the big kids the round circle plate, and the 3 smaller kids got the section plate. And dinner is served. When I said it was 10 out of 10, tell me what y'all cooked tonight. Bye.